Welcome PodwM family to the first episode on YouTube where PodwM will be interviewing our fellow Namibians. Today joining us is Cassia Sharpley, sharing a bit about her journey and how it was being Miss Namibia. Welcome, Cassia.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how's life been?
For the most part, it's been good, enjoyable, blessed, taking every day as it comes.
So how's the journey after the title, after the big thing, I would say?
Yeah. It's been an up and down roller coaster ride, you can say, from trying to normalize things that weren't normal for a while, because my life took a complete 360 when I got crowned Miss Namibia, and then trying to normalize coming back to regular life, like a normal person. It was difficult. It was really difficult, but I mean, we make it work every day. Yeah.
So I feel like they were different personas, if I can say that, of you, like before, during, and after. But who is Cassia? Like, inform a bit about her. Who is she? What does she love? What is she doing? A bit more about you.
So Cassia, how I see her, her, let's start with the not so great stuff. She's extremely stubborn, and she's very intense sometimes, Sometimes I have very intense conversations. I'm a very intense person because I'm very passionate about humanity, equality, justice, that type of thing. But I'm most of the time a very chilled person, very much to myself, even though I'm very well known. I'm an introvert in my own right. I'm a child of God. I'm radical about Jesus Christ and my journey with him. And yeah, I'm very outgoing. I'm very disciplined, very driven, goal-driven. I think I worry my oma sometimes. They say for me, you need to settle down now. You need to find some space and be somewhere, just be there. But I'm a very versatile person. So whatever opportunity comes my way, I take it. And given that the opportunity will give back more than what I give it, it sounds very selfish. But sometimes you have to be selfish like that. And yeah, that's me.
Sports, what do you play? Have you played? I heard about rugby. How is that? As a girl.
I think it was a phase. It definitely was a phase, trying all these different sports. I did track and field. I only got to regionals, unfortunately. Been a ballerina for 15, 17 years.
Nice.
And hip-hop, modern dancing, contemporary, jazz, did all the dance styles. And I did the final grades, like the highest grade in everything. So I couldn't continue with any of my dancing or anything. And then I tried different things, did rugby, did powerlifting. I'm still currently doing bodybuilding. That's the sport I'm doing now because it's very flexible with my study times and everything. So yeah, I tried a lot of different things. I went to the World Championships of Performing Arts in 2014, but I tore my hamstring, so I couldn't even compete at the competition. But then I still went, and I told myself, okay, let me just see what is happening here, because I'm definitely coming back. I told myself, ek kom terug. Een of ander manier moet ek terugkom. And so I went into rehab for my leg and, just trying to get myself level-minded to come back. Then I went back in 2016 again to the World Championships. And this was in LA, so it was a whole experience. And then I came back home with medals. And yeah.
Proud of you, man. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. But how do you deal with the pressure? How on national field or on big stages? Like, there's definitely a lot of pressure. Like, how would you deal with that?
I think also given my career, as a paramedic, I deal very well under pressure. I think I put in the most work under pressure. So when there isn't any pressure, I'm like, what is going on? Something is wrong. Why is there no pressure? Why is there no obstacles I need to get over? Why is everything going too smooth right now? I like the friction, I like the pressure. It's just about time management, priorities, setting clear boundaries with the people around you, and being okay with journeying alone if you have to at the end of the day, because not everyone is going to be as supportive as you would expect them to be. And you need to release people, let them go so that you can thrive in your own right.
Sure. About that, like being so alone, like I see you as a loner, or most of the content you post is always you, it's you doing something. How is that? Because I believe every human craves for that just to be with some
Interaction.
people. Yeah, interaction.
Yeah.
So how is it to isolate and work on yourself? How is that going?
It's difficult in the sense that even though I'm an introvert, I still love people. I love getting to know new people. So I don't mind being alone, but when the loneliness hits, it hits. Because I even ask my mom, how am I so well known, but I don't have friends? And she's like, you're over exaggerating. You have friends. I'm like, no, I have people that I'm friendly with and I have acquaintances, but I don't have close-knit friends, right? And I was very close with my brother and my sister. But they're in the States now. They moved to the States about 2.5 years ago. And my cousin, who was also, I was very close with her, she moved to Dubai. So my people, my close-knit people are all like gone. Yeah. And right now it's very difficult to have close-knit friendships because not everyone's intentions are pure, especially with the titles and everything. So sometimes it's really difficult because I'm a people person. But then I also tell myself, it's just 6 more months, you'll be fine. Just 6 more months. Then you can explore different things. Yeah.
So gym would also be part of what you do.
Yeah.
Or the loneliness hits, or just something, writing, piano playing would be things you would do in that time.
I have outlets. I have healthy outlets. So I love art. Sometimes I paint, sometimes I play the piano, sometimes I make covers, sing covers that I never release. That's my safe space. And I go to the gym. I'm always in the gym. The gym is my therapy. Listen to podcasts in the gym, and that's basically
nice. So why would you say is the healthy outlets, why is that important?
Healthy outlets, I think it's important to have healthy outlets because then it's at least adding to your value of life. Whereas if you have unhealthy outlets, then it's guaranteed you're taking absolutely everything away from your progress. And that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with, is to have healthy outlets, because we all have different perspectives on what is healthy and what is not.
Yeah, definitely.
But some people are teachable and they can learn what is healthy and what is not, and others just don't. And healthy outlets are important because of how it adds to your value of life.
But now, how could I start adding these healthy outlets if I'm surrounded by an environment where it's not really healthy to them, or it's like odd to them, or boring? How? Because in our youth today, not drinking and not smoking and staying home, going to the gym, or just those healthy outlets for me was categorized as boring, or what are you doing with your life? So it's a bit hectic because now you feel like I'm missing out on something. Something is not clicking or itchy. So how do I manage that? Like dealing with it, almost like rejection type of feeling.
I think it's important, first of all, to understand you have the power to change an environment. That's the first thing.
Definitely.
So even when you get into an environment where you are uncomfortable, you shouldn't have an imposter syndrome. You shouldn't feel less than. You shouldn't feel like you need to fit in. You don't have to fit in. And if you see that you can't change the environment, it's beyond you, remove yourself. Because it's likely that if that environment can't even acknowledge that you are there, they probably won't acknowledge that you've left either way. So it doesn't really matter.
True.
And it's just the thing of, we never look down on anyone else. We never speak illy of anyone, right? We always want to be positive outlets in life. But you also need to be very firm in your boundaries. Like if you don't drink, if you don't smoke, that is you for yourself. And they should respect the fact that you don't do that as much as you respect the fact that they want to do all of that, you know. But it's very difficult in our day and age. I'm very boring. All I do is stay home, work, sleep, eat well, train. But if being boring means that it's my level up to success, then it may be boring, bro. But then when I'm successful, you can't show up. As long as you know that.
But there's so much peace in that.
There's a lot of peace in that.
It's just you. It's almost like you're in your own bubble, not in a negative way, but you're just at peace. There's nothing bothering. There's no overthinking, or it's just healthy, man. My opinion on it. So with the fitness journey, you started a gym with Bro Cass. It is just that.
Lifts with Cass.
But what was the first name?
Gym Bro Cass.
Gym Bro Cass. So how did that? Why a new page for that? Why not on the main?
I think it's because I wanted people to see the pageant side of me, the business corporate side, and then my lifting page is more Cassia. Like you'll see the raw Cassia. Now, not everything, but
Yeah.
you know, you'll see me for who I am. And it's just also to inspire other people, to tell them, like, don't be scared. If you feel like opening a page, open a page. It's your fitness journey. Share it with people, inspire people. And I'm also a sponsored athlete. And if I didn't start that gym page, I wouldn't have been discovered as an athlete in the first place. So sometimes you need to create those opportunities for yourself. You know, you need to sit back and ask yourself, how can I be seen? How can I be noticed? Finding your niche and basically just going with it. Yeah.
So the fitness journey, like the sponsorships and all that, like, is there a space where it's like a bit too much? We don't feel worthy enough. You can't show up, because we always just see the people showing up, but they never show the side where they don't show up, where it's a bit difficult to get out of bed. So there's also a bit about that.
There are days where I'm just like, yo, vandaag voel ek regtig, like I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
But you always have to go back to your why. But why did I start doing this in the first place? Stay true to your why. And if your why is unauthentic, you're never going to be motivated to go. You know, so I do get demotivated sometimes, but then I always think I want to be strong for my patients. You know, I want to be strong for myself, healthy for myself, for my future family. I want to be strong and healthy for my kids. Now I want my kids to brag about their mom, like, oh yeah, my mom's a bodybuilder, like, by the way. You know, my mom has muscles. But yeah, that's basically what I do, especially when I don't feel like showing up. I just remember my why, like, why am I doing this? You know, and if you don't have a why for something, then maybe you should stop pursuing it. Because then, why are you doing it if you don't know why?
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay. So the why, man, it's a bit difficult finding a why. I believe I found my why in the process of doing it. Like discovering and like, I like this, I don't like this, maybe that's my why, maybe not. So just to allow yourself also just to not have your why, but also just to uncover it.
Yeah.
So a bit about that. The sponsorships you have, like, how did that come about? It's not usually easy getting them and maintaining them. So how's the journey?
Yeah, like I mentioned with the organization being Miss Namibia and everything, it's almost as though I had to establish my own brand. And funny enough, all my sponsors wanted to work with me, separate from Miss Namibia. So I was like, good shot, like, let's go, you know. So I was just excited, like, Miss Namibia beter nog klaar maak. Ek het sponsors wat wag, you know. And by the time I was done with Miss Namibia, because I was so authentic in my journey of being Miss Namibia, they saw me, the person, and they were like, we want to work with her, you know. So it's really a thing of putting yourself out there. To some extent, you also have to show some type of vulnerability so people can be relatable to you. So all the sponsors I have is just because I was, first of all, myself, and I took that risk of going out there and putting myself out there. Yeah.
So the scary side to putting yourself out there, have you experienced any bad vibes, bad energy, bad comments?
Yo, I have, but I always, when people comment certain things, especially on social media, or say certain things, I never take it personally. I always think, man, what is this person going through? Like, for you to be coming at me like that, I will pray for you, you need Jesus, you know? That is always my perspective. I never take people's retaliation personally, because it means that they're just dealing with their demons differently, and that's not my problem, you know? So I did get some unhealthy experiences, stuff that I had to heal from, but I also matured through that to understand that I am not the problem in the situation. I can tell when I need to change certain things about myself, but I can also tell when, okay, this person is going to drain me of my energy, and this person still needs to work on themselves. Let me just leave them there, you know, and it's nothing personal. It's just you giving people the space to be, you know, and that's what I experienced.
Yeah, because I believe in the field I'm going into now, or want to grow in, I have to be prepared for people not liking what I'm putting out there. And I feel like it scares me a bit, because the content creators that I follow and the things that people say about them, I'm just like,
it's
that's
scary.
so hurtful. Like, how do you think that? And I'm like, will I be able to navigate through that if it has to happen to me? So, but it's good to see that you can grow through it.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, doing the whole bodybuilding thing, and I would post my workout videos and everything, and I'm not the slimmest person, like I'm a bit groterig. Then they'll be like, is she a he? Like, is it trans question mark? And I'm like, listen, it's not that deep, man. I just have muscles. It's not that intense.
Yeah.
But you have to take it as a joke. You just have to be like, you are so uneducated. Let me educate you. I'm not there. I'm here. But yeah.
No, that's
So you just have to find the humor in it, man.
yeah.
Life is enjoyable. Laugh a biggie.
So there was one post I screenshotted from you. It was like, it was a picture of you. I believe it was the Miss Namibia journey or close to that. It was like, I tried wearing clothing that made me look slimmer so that the media wouldn't eat me alive.
Yeah.
I was like, could you elaborate more?
That was very scary.
Yeah.
Like, during Miss Namibia, I gained a lot of weight. And people were making comments about it everywhere. Even internationally on the Miss Universe stage, in my comments. I walked into a lady at Spa just here in Windhoek and she's like, yeah, your body looks better now. You should have looked like that at Miss Universe. And I was like, yo, land of the brave. Like, you're very brave to come up to me and just say stuff like that, right? And it was because they also put me on certain medication to keep my face clean, like clear, so there's no breakouts overseas and everything, and that messed up my hormones, water retention, gained weight, all of that, bad eating habits, bad sleeping habits. And so when I showed up in public, I had to at least look like I'm still snatched and slim, you know. So I was very selective of, must I wear this? Maybe that's too short, that's too long. That was very difficult. I struggled with body dysmorphia from all of that. And I went into my fitness journey and I wanted to tell myself, I'm becoming healthy for me, not because I want to satisfy the media, you know.
So it's basically back to your why.
Yeah. And I just told myself, at some point, this body is going to be old news anyway. So it's not going to matter at all at any point. So, yeah.
Sheesh, okay.
Because media is, it's a cutthroat world in media and entertainment. You need to have very thick skin, especially if you become well known.
Yeah. Because everyone feels like they can put their opinion out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. But with the Miss Namibia title, like, how was the mental health? Like, dealing with everything?
It was fine in the sense that I really challenged the organization. You know, we had some robust conversations, and I think they crowned me thinking I'm young, I'm a colored. They can underestimate me, put me under their thumb, and then I showed up like, luister, ek gaan nie dit doen nie. En hier sou kom, you know. They were very shocked that I could stand up for myself in that regard. And I had to manage my mental health in such a way that anything they said, I never took personal, and I still kept to my boundaries. I had certain boundaries, and if they can't adhere to that, then I'm not going to participate in anything that they ask me to do. And navigating through my mental health, I just told myself, I'm in complete control of my mind. My mind does not control me. And the more you tell yourself that, your soul, your spirit is going to believe it. And eventually your mind will believe it, that you are the one in control. Because it's when you start over-fixating on simple things like comments and how someone looked at you and how someone spoke about you, and that's when you give your mind way too much power. And then you start giving power to feelings and emotions are so inconsistent, and now you're giving this inconsistent reality so much power when you have greater consistency by you being in control of your mind. So that's what I told myself throughout Miss Namibia. Like, if I have to do certain things to get stuff done, I'll do it in terms of, like, we sold the cars, like I spoke about it on one of my episodes. If we had to sell the cars, we sold the cars because I had to get to Miss Universe, you know. And it was the support of my family. You know, we weighed the pros and cons, and what if we do this, what if we do that. And most of the time it was work with what you have. That's all we had, and we made it work. Like, at the end of the day, I was in Miss Universe, like, hello. And a lot of what I achieved throughout Miss Namibia cannot take credit for. And I can boldly say that. Like, you can't take credit for any of that. So, yeah.
So how was the family support? How important was that?
It was very important for me because I'm very close to my oma. Ek en my oma is so, like, she stays down the street from me. So if I just felt down or I felt off, I'm like, ek gaan nou na my oma toe. Ek gaan kla nou almal by my oma, you know, en not gaan put oor julle en alles. So my family has always supported me. Also my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, they've always been so vocal about how proud they are of me, and I can hit them up if I need anything. And my sister, my brother also, my brother was he was the one that was very hard on me. He's like, you need to bite the bullet and you need to man up. I'm like, okay, noted. I'll man up. You know, in my heels, I will man up. So the family support was very important. My mom and my dad as well. My dad was the more liberal one, so very strict, very, you know, to the point. And he's the one that I think planted the seed of being so robust and forward and saying the stuff that people don't want to say. And my mom is more the soft, gentle one. I think she brought the feminine side in me. Yeah.
It's nice, but how is the support, how the importance of it, like we not all of us have that kind of support, especially coming from family. So navigating that, like maybe Miss Namibia signing up without that support. Yeah.
I can make a comparison of, it was easier for my family and it was easier to have support throughout Miss Namibia because a lot of people can relate to it and they will know how to support me. And then you get the other side of me, which is like the paramedic. Like no one knows how to support a paramedic. It's like, what do you say? What do you do? How do you ask? Are you allowed to ask? Am I allowed to talk about this at home? You know? So I can see now how support is important in the sense that I've had so much support that was overwhelming in Miss Namibia, but I'm struggling to get a certain type of support being a paramedic. And now I can feel the lack thereof in the sense that I have to deal with things and internalize things, and there's a lot that I don't talk about, but I really feel like I need to talk about it, but I know that people won't understand what I'm talking about. So I saw the importance in that comparison, how it's nice to just have someone listen to understand and not just listen to respond, you know, because that's also what people do nowadays. You open up, you speak, and then people just respond. They don't listen to what you're saying, try to help you unravel it and help you heal or figure something out. So yeah, I saw the importance in the two differences between those categories.
So how's it being a paramedic? Why study that? How did the love for that evolve?
I think ever since I was a kid, I was bijna skieurig. Like if there was a car accident or sirens or what, I'm like, wat was dat? Waar is dit? Kan ons gou gaan kyk? You know, I was that type of person. And then I was supposed to go to Juilliard for ballet. I did a video interview or audition, and I was supposed to go for the live audition in New York, and then COVID happened, and I couldn't go. My heart was completely shattered because my dream was to be a professional ballerina. And then I did first aid just for fun after COVID, and I was like, but this is interesting, like can't we study more? Like where do we go to study more? And then I did my basic life support paramedic license, and I worked by EMED 4,000 hours voluntary. And the more I started working with patients as a basic life support, I was like, is this only, my scope is only this much? Is this all I can do? Like really? And then the seniors on the base were like, Cassia, you would be really good as an ALS. Like just go to NAS, just try it out. And then I went, and I was a bit scared because everyone said there are 2,500 applicants. They only take 20 a year. And I'm like, yo, what makes me so special? You know, and so you do your fitness assessment, you do your in-person interview, and you do an online test, and then they decide who they want to take into the program. So I knew from the beginning, if I get in here, it's a blessing, because it's almost like no one gets in, you know. And there are people that come every single year to do the paramedic thing. And it's a very rewarding career. It's a very robust career as well. Not everyone will understand us as paramedics. We even tell each other at school, we're like, kom ons los maar. Niemand sal ons verstaan nie. If you want to vent, come to one of us, because we will understand. But yeah, I've always had a love for it, and patience, people, caring for people in the unexplainable situations, you know, when they don't know what to do, the emergency situations. I love being there for them, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how intense is it, like with Miss Namibia and studying at that time? Like how could you balance both and give both 100%, I would say?
Yeah, so the weekend of Miss Namibia, I spoke to God and I was like, listen, Lord, either I'm going back to NAST on Monday, or you're crowning me as Miss Namibia, and I'll sacrifice a year of studies and I'll give Miss Namibia everything I have. Because I can always go back and study. I can never come back and be Miss Namibia again. So I was like, whatever you decide, I'm content with the outcome, but this is how I feel, you know. And so when I got crowned, the first thing that came to my mind on stage was, I need to deregister nurse. This is crazy. Because I made a deal with God, like, this is what I'll do, So I went to the university literally that same week, and I deregistered my course for a year because I was going to be a hazard on scene. Like, people would be too fixated on the fact that I'm Miss Namibia and everything. So then I left school for a year, and then I returned the year after Miss Namibia, and that was a bit crazy because I thought people would forget, but they didn't forget. So even on campus, it was like, Miss Namibia, And for 8 months of my reign, I was still Miss Namibia, and I was also at NAST. So it was difficult in the sense that you just want to be a normal kid, like a normal person or a normal practitioner. Just treat me normal. But everyone was fixated on, that's Miss Namibia,
Yeah, but that's actually cool to see, like, you made that choice and gave Miss Namibia your 100%. Because this whole time I thought, no, she balanced it all. Nice to know you had the choice to make. So you took part in fitness competitions. Like, how was that? Like, you already talked about the comments, but I believe people had a lot to say.
I actually, my very first competition was for my 21st birthday. My parents asked me, what do I want to do for my 21st? And I was like, well, I don't have friends, so I might as well do something great for myself. And then I saw that there was a bodybuilding competition on my birthday, and I was like, I want to do my first bodybuilding competition on my 21st birthday. Like, let's go, And so I competed, and I did that in my first year of university, and I was on prep for 6 months, and I was just training twice a day, 7 days a week. So I was training 14 times a week and studying and going to shifts and all of that. So when I did the first competition, I'm like, I could do this again, And then in the year of Miss Namibia, in April, I took part in another competition. And then I just enjoyed it. And I thought, okay, nou is my lichaam ook lekker vir Miss Namibia. Kom ons doen Miss Namibia net 'n lekkerte, And then I did the final competition last year in November, also around my birthday. And it's a very intense sport. Especially when you go in your cutting phase and you can't eat carbs, no milk, no sugar, none of that. But it's very rewarding in the sense that you see how you sculpt your body, and to think that, wow, I was this disciplined for this long. I put in the work for this long. That's crazy. And then I won the overall women's trophy and the money, all that fun stuff. So yeah.
Nice, man. It's nice to see how diverse you are. Like, there's a lot you tackle and you succeeded it. So it's nice to see.
We try.
Coming back to your foundation,
Honeycomb Haven,
So why that name? Wow.
So the foundation was established in 2017, and it never really had a name or identity. I was just starting off, along with my parents. And then I was Miss Teen Continent Namibia in 2018, and then I went to Las Vegas, Nevada to represent Namibia. And then I remember I won Best Interview at that competition, and all I spoke about was my foundation. And that's when I realized my foundation carries weight, like I need to do something with this. And after Miss Teen Continents, honestly, my dad asked me if I'd ever do a pageant again. I was like, heck no. The hair, the makeup, the katterigheid, like the pretense, I can't do it. I really can't. But then I realized I showed up for the kids that day. I showed up for my community that day. So it's not really about me. And then the foundation was registered as a non-profit organization, Section 21, in the year of Miss Namibia, right before I went to Miss Universe. And that was my biggest goal. Before I hit the international stage, the foundation needs to be a legally registered organization so that if investors come in, they know I'm legal, I'm operating as a foundation. And the foundation will always be dear to my heart. No matter where I am in the world, I'm always going to come back home to home base, and I'm always going to give back to my foundation and my community. So it's been quite a while now that it's been functioning, and it's difficult to have it ongoing because not a lot of people are, or at least the world is finding itself in a position where no one really wants to give back. It's now a cutthroat world. People are very selfish and to themselves, but we make it work.
The brand ambassadorship you got lately of the car, how was that? Like, How did it happen? How is it?
So in last year, one of my mentors, or she's my mentor now, Bombili, she invited me to multiple Mercedes events, because she's the ambassador for Mercedes. And I think I got noticed by the people of MNZ, and they were asking about me from her. And then they gave the proposal of the possibility of being an ambassador. And then I had to get my bio together, my resume together, and my social media profile presentation together for them. And so this happened last year, May. And I was like, wanneer kom die mense terug? Like by September, October, I was like, is it happening? Is it not happening? When December came, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not happening. It's fine. Let bygones be bygones. It's done. It's not going to happen. And then they called me back and they said, no, but we want you to be the ambassador. Are you willing? I'm like, yeah. Ons het dan net een car and the spanner is in for repairs. I need a car. And so when I got the vehicle, I was very grateful in the sense that I was reflecting on how I struggled, like going to interviews. I would either take a Yango or the 1400 Pakiki. Then I'm all full glammed in this 1400. I was like, this is a flex. This is a whole flex, At some point, the 1400 even broke down, and then I had to push it. There's that main road in Olympia going to Grove from Action Arena. That whole road, I had to push the 1400 Pakkie. When it happened, I was like, okay, die jump ding moet iets beteken. Ek moet ook die ding kan stoot, And I was just vibing with it because my phone was off, couldn't contact anyone to be like, luister, ek is hier langs die pad. So I just had to push it to a place where I can charge my phone and then call my people. But I was just reflecting on all of that, how now God is blessing me with a vehicle. It's a brand new vehicle. It's a branded vehicle with my name, not Miss Namibia. It's literally Cassia Sharpley driven by. And I was just grateful because I could also take the kids out. I took a couple of the kids out, for ice creams and that kind of thing. So I can also give back to the community. And it's just really cool, man, to know that I can add that feather to my cap. Like, by the way, as ambassador, you know.
So how's the car?
Oh, it's lekker. It's so nice. It says fun to drive, and it really is fun to drive. The one I'm driving is the Tigo 4 Pro Black Badge series, and it's turbocharged. So it's right up my alley. Like if I need to go, I go, And it's very comfortable. It's very safe. It's nice. It's a lovely car. Lovely car. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Namibians also doing things like that, it's a big thing, definitely.
Yeah.
So how was the being a believer in the journey of Miss Namibia? How is your journey like? How did everything happen? How did you feel like? I kind of like this man.
So I always grew up in a household that was very religious. I was a preacher's kid for a very long time, and to have that label also from such a young age, that was why it was very hard, because people have unrealistic expectations from you as well, and you never have your own identity. You're not Cassia or Joshua, my brother. You're just Apostle V, Pastor V, Sakanash. That's all that we were, and it was very annoying at some point.
Get the name.
I have a name. And that pressure, and just when I got older, I realized, but this is not, I don't know God. God doesn't know me. I know of God, but I don't know Him, and He doesn't know me, and I don't like this. And it was very, how can I say, uncomfortable to tell my parents, I don't want to learn God the way you taught Him to me. It was but I told them, the way you guys give off this person is not how I want to get to know Him, because I know there's different aspects to Him. And I really started growing in my relationship with God at the age of 16. Then I was really intentional with, okay, I know God, but I want Him to know me too, and I didn't have any formal approach when it came to Jesus Christ, when it came to God. I have very high respect for my Savior, for Abba Father, but we have a very close-knit relationship in the sense that I speak to Him wherever I go. I feel Holy Spirit wherever I go, because I allowed Him, I introduced Him into my life too, and I'm not a religious person. I'm never going to Bible bash anyone. I'm never going to discriminate against anyone. But if I carry the glory of God and you are around me and you feel some type of conviction, that's all Holy Spirit. I did none of that, And being Miss Namibia, the first thing I did when I got crowned was literally throw up my hands, and I was in my own world. No one existed in that moment. I was like, thank you, Jesus. You know, and some people made fun of it. They're like, oh, look at the Jesus freak. Oh, Hail Mary, what. And I was like, Jay, I'm a child of God. And the Bible says, touch not my anointed, you know. And you don't wish ill upon people, but if it takes them learning a lesson on not to mess with God's children, then learn your lesson.
But it was so beautiful. Like, that's the first person you had to say thank you to. Like,
because I knew that he's in control of it all. So the fact that he was presenting me with this opportunity means he sees me. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. You see your girl, you know. And I always saw my journey as the Esther journey, you know, as Esther. Like, I'm the Esther of my nation. What does that mean? You know, and whenever I didn't want to show up, like there were sometimes events where I'm like, I don't want to do the hair, the makeup, the fake smiles, and you know. And then I always remember, if I perish, I perish. If nothing comes of it, nothing comes of it, but you know you showed up. You know, and being authentically myself and knowing that I'm not just a queen around humans on earth. I'm a queen in the kingdom as well, and I need to represent myself as such. But God has always been a part of my journey. Throughout my journey, I fasted, I prayed, I would really meditate on the Word of God, because to meditate on the Word of God means to gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding beyond what the normal human being can comprehend. And that's the type of wisdom and knowledge I had to apply in everything I was doing, because I had to have some type of the emotional intelligence I learned has to be straight from God, because I know if I was alone, I would be so far gone off the rails. So God is Jesus Christ. God is my identity. Like, you can't have him without me. I'm always there. He's always there. And I always tell people, if you're gonna come between me and God, we're gonna have a problem. Dat gaan 'n probleem wees, you know.
It's beautiful, man. It's I would say lukewarm Christians is the new thing. Like, ek is maar. Die maar is maar altyd daar. But it's nice to see someone passionate about it, talking it out of the heart. So with all that, what do you want to leave behind for our youth? What do you want to be known for? Like, if I remember Cassia 5 years from now, what is it one thing that you want us like to click on it? Just that one thing.
I would say try to find your authentic self and stay true to that person. Because we live in a fallen world, an unpredictable world, and an inconsistent world. The only consistency you have in this life is yourself, the days that you are alive, and God himself. Because every day, this is going to sound so raw, but every day you're walking alongside your death date. God knows when you're dying. Every single day you're walking around with the shadow of your death. So with that in mind, know that as much as you are at liberty to live, you are also bound to be 6 foot under at some point. And you don't want to live a life where it's just, okay, but what did she do? What did he do? You know, so, and you don't want to live a life being someone you're not, being an imposter to yourself, and missing out on opportunities you could have obtained if you were literally just yourself. So I want to encourage the youth to do that. Don't become an NPC, a non-provincial character. Like, please just add to life. You know, you don't have to be like everyone else. You don't have to fit in. And if you need to be alone for a while, be alone. You know, let God do his thing. And be okay with getting uncomfortable. Don't get too comfortable.
Do the hard things.
Do the hard things.
So before I finish off, Unfiltered, like the channel you started, why?
Yes. So I always see things that I like difficult conversations. I like ruffling feathers. I like debates. I like getting people a bit quiet. You know, just to hear what they are really thinking. Because people are always saying things, and I'm like, but are you really? Like, is that really your truth? You know, I like getting under people's skin just because it helps them tap into what they are really feeling. So Unfiltered is a podcast I started, and it's stopped now because of school and work and everything. But we have the broadcast channel on Instagram, and Unfiltered is literally the name. Like, anyone is welcome to come and speak there. You can speak your mind. You can. It's a free space. It's an open space, and it challenges social inequalities. It challenges so many things, gender-based inequality, all of that stuff. We've spoken about a couple of things that already got people crazy. But yeah, that's what the podcast is about, and the broadcast channel.
And you feel like you can just be yourself on the broadcast channel. Like,
Yeah.
your type of community you're building. Nice.
And whoever wants to come for me, I'm like, kom vir my, laat ons gesels, kom sit hier langs my.
Nice, man. To finish off, what do you want to tell small Cassia, like way back, maybe 5-10 years old, like what is gonna get her through what is waiting on her, if I can say it that way?
I would just tell her, girl, stop crying. You're literally a queen in like 10 years. Stop crying. That's all I'll tell her.
No.
You know, because I was a very emotional person when I was much younger, because I had such a caring heart. And so the smallest thing would just make me like bawl my eyes out. Even when my mom would give me just a lekkerkie, you know, I would cry and be like, it's for me. Like, really? I'll just tell her, man up, man. You're literally going to be a queen of a nation at some point, so you need to trek hy sokkies op. Yeah.
Trek hy sokkies op, hy toe ek nou secrets ook sê. Baie dankie. Thank you for joining PodwM. It was really nice having you here and filtering a bit of what we just see, hearing a bit about the behind the scenes story.
Yeah, of course.
May you just grow. May you just be an inspiration to us out there. And we love your broadcast, you know.
Thank you.
Please continue with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.